In this video session on bearing capacity of shallow foundation, I have included the plate load test, and let us discuss about the procedure to conduct the plate load test in the field. Before that, let us understand what is this plate load test. So plate load test is a field test for determining the ultimate bearing capacity of a soil and the likely settlement under a given load. The plate load test is basically a field test. It consists of loading a steel plate placed at the foundation level, and the corresponding settlements will be recorded by applying the loads incrementally. The test load is gradually increased till the plate starts to sink at a rapid rate. The total value of load on the plate in such a stage is divided by area of the steel plate, which gives the ultimate bearing capacity of the soil. The ultimate bearing capacity of soil is divided by suitable factor of safety, which varies from 2 to 3 to arrive at the value of safe bearing capacity of the soil. So let us understand this plate load test by knowing the various stages which will be followed while conducting the plate load test. So this is divided into 4 different um, heads. The first one is the test setup, and then we have testing procedure, then we have to interpret the results, and finally let us know the limitations of the test. First, we will go for understanding the test setup. A test pit is usually dug at a site up to a depth at which the foundation is proposed to be laid. The width of the pit should be at least 5 times the width of the test plate. At the center of the pit, a small square depression or a hole is made whose size is equal to the size of the test plate and bottom level of which corresponds to the level of actual foundation. The depth of the hole should be such that the ratio of the depth to width of the loaded area is approximately the same as the ratio of the actual depth to width of the foundation. A mild steel plate, which is also called as a bearing plate, is generally used in this test, and it should not be less than, and the thickness of which is should not be less than 25 mm in thickness, 25 mm in thickness, and its size may vary from 300 to 750 mm. The plate could be square or circular in shape. Usually square plate is used for all different kinds of different shapes of the footing except the square footing wherein circular plate is used. Coming to testing procedure, the load is applied to the test plate through a centrally placed column. The test load is transmitted to the column by following method, that is gravity loading method, which is also called as reaction loading method. In case of gravity loading method, a loading platform is constructed over the column placed on the test plate, and test load is applied by placing the dead weight in the form of sandbags or pig iron blocks or concrete blocks, lead bars, etc. on the platform, and we will use generally hydraulic jack to transfer the load from the platform to the bearing plate. The reaction of the hydraulic jack being borne by the loaded platform, and this form of loading we call it as reaction loading. So this figure 1 will show you the plate load test arrangement to determine the settlement against the load. So now I will continue with the testing procedure. When loading is applied to the test plate, it sinks or settles. The settlement of plate is measured with the help of a sensitive dial gauges. For the square plate, generally 2 dial gauges are used for more accuracy. The dial gauges are mounted on an independently supported datum bar. As the plate settles, the ram of the dial gauges moves down the settlement and is recorded. The load is indicated on the load gauges of the hydraulic jack. The plate is placed in the central hole and load applied by means of a hydraulic jack for conducting the plate load test. The reaction to the jack is provided by means of a loaded platform or a reaction beam, which I have just shown in the figure 1. At first, a seating load of 7 kN per meter square will be applied, which releases after some time. The load then applied in increments of about 20% of the estimated safe load or 1/10 of the ultimate load. The settlement will then recorded at 1, 5, 10, 20, 40, 60 minutes and further after an interval of 1 hour for clayey soils. These hourly observations continued until the rate of settlement is less than 0.2 mm per hour. The test is conducted until the failure or at least until the settlement of about 25 mm has occurred. The figure 2 shows the graph of load versus settlement, and we have 4 different kinds of soils A, B, C, D, and accordingly we can interpret those curves based on the results. The curve 1 is typical for loose to medium non-cohesive soils. It can be seen that initially this curve is a straight line, but as the load increases it flattens out. There is no clear point of shear failure, and this is mentioned as curve A. Curve 2 is typically meant for cohesive soils. This may not be quite straight in the initial stages and leans towards settlement axis as the settlement increases, as shown in the load versus settlement curve as B curve. And the curve 3 is typically for partially cohesive soils and is shown as curve C. Curve 4 is typical for purely dense non-cohesive soil. We can understand from these 4 different kinds of curves, we can say that the ultimate bearing capacity as obtained by dividing the ultimate bearing capacity by a factor of safety, which varies from 2 to 3. The value of the safe bearing capacity thus arrived at is considered to be based on the criteria of shear failure. Safe bearing capacity is based on permissible settlement. As indicated earlier, the settlement of footing is also related to SBC of the soil. The value of ultimate bearing capacity and hence the SBC in this case can be obtained from the load settlement curves by reading the value of load intensity corresponding to the desired settlement of the test plate. The settlement of the footing SF is given by the formula SF is equal to SP of BF multiplied by BP plus 0.3 divided by BP of BF plus 0.3 whole square, wherein B is the width of the footing or breadth of the footing, BP is the width of the test plate in mm, SP is the settlement of the test plate in mm. Using this equation, we can calculate the settlement of the bearing plate. So this test has also some limitations. So let us discuss on the limitations of the plate load test. So I have mentioned here the 3 different limitations. The first one is the test results reflect only the character of the soil located within a depth of less than twice the width of the bearing plate. Normally, the foundations are larger than the test plates. The settlement and shear resistance of the soil against shear failure will depend on the properties much thicker stratum. Thus, the results of test could be misleading if the character of the soil changes at shallow depths. The second limitation is that the plate load test being of short duration does not give the ultimate settlements, particularly in case of cohesive soils. For clayey soils, the bearing capacity for a large foundation is almost same as that for the small test plate, but in dense sandy soils, the bearing capacity increases with the size of the foundation, and hence the test with smaller size test plates tends to give conservative values in dense sandy soils. In view of above limitations, the plate load test method of determining SPC of soil may be considered adequate for light or less important structures under normal conditions. However, in case of unusual type of soil stratum and for all heavy and important structures, relevant laboratory tests or field tests are essential to establish this SPC of the soil. Thank you.